Hello and welcome to Bend the Knee, a Song of Ice and Fire podcast. I am Sir Matt, the Bud Knight.
And I am Sir Ezra the Watchful. Welcome to our Song of Ice and Fire book club. Welcome to Raven's Nest Season 8 mid-season reactions and predictions.
Yeah, we're going to be talking Battle of Winterfell, and what do we think is going to happen? There's only 3 episodes left. This is our Raven's Nest. I know we've had a lot of new listeners lately. This is your chance to get on the show, have your voice heard, as we talk about theories, predictions, and everything going forward. So we're going to go round robin here with some of our bannermen and sworn swords on the Patreon, and just hear everyone's thoughts, reactions to what just happened last week.
Yeah, this should be exciting because we've been talking about it, but I'm sure we have different perspectives. We've gotten Ravens, we've read some of those, so it'll be neat to hear what some of our bannermen have to say.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, Sir Ezra, it's been almost a week since we've seen the Battle of Winterfell. Have your thoughts on it changed at all?
Let me think. So, I'm more and more. I think you were telling me just on my way, here we were talking before Raven's Nest
right,
that the idea might be that what we see, at least the killing of the Night King or the lead other or White Walker being Arya, might actually take place in the books, according to the showrunners.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to double check all that, but like I think it was hinted at. I'm not sure that it was confirmed, obviously, but wowzers if that's the case.
Yeah, something you and I have talked about quite a bit, and something we've been talking about doing an episode on entirely is perception. And in the books, it's all told to us through POV chapters. So we've talked before, the Dragon Pit episode in season 7. Whose perspective is that going to be? And then we were talking about the Battle of Winterfell, which we would imagine to be multiple chapters. But that final scene, let's say it goes down the same way in the books, whose POV is that going to be? My guess is maybe Bran's, or what I think would be cool is you and I were talking about possibly if it were Theon's POV with maybe he rolls over, sees Arya, jump over him. But that's just something we've been talking about and in rewatching the episode. So now that I try to make that connection to it, I have to say after watching it a few more times, seeing some of the Easter eggs that the internet has thankfully pointed out, like Jon yelling "Go, go," which kind of changes the lack of a Jon Night King battle. So now I appreciate the episode even more. I definitely get people's criticisms, and I see why they have them. But as you and I had said, we just I still view it as we're halfway through. We don't know what's going to happen. So it's kind of hard for me to really criticize something until I see the full picture. Now, if the full picture sucks, then I'll go back and criticize it. But right now, I really enjoyed it. But we're just waiting for more.
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting. I think you have a Raven we want to start with, correct? We have a Bannerman Has No Name.
Yeah, Bannerman Has No Name, who's one of our patrons. He couldn't record tonight, so he sent us his thoughts about the episode and kind of what we're talking about here. So, a Bannerman Has No Name. I loved the 3 episodes so far. Are they what I expected? No. Do I hope that the books go differently? Yes. But I believe that we have to view the books and the HBO show as 2 different entities from the point where the book source material finishes. I recently learned that in a 2017 interview, the showrunners stated they had the list of points from Gurr and that we would see some, but there were others that we definitely wouldn't see. It is also clear that even back then, when they had the book source material, the HBO show would do its best to play down the fantasy elements of the story and focus on the people and human elements. This has come through so much in the HBO series, except the dragons, and it seems clear that this is what they did with the Long Night episode. Give us the climax of the dead and get it out of the way so they can focus on the human stories to come. I am disappointed that we learned little about the Night King, the dead army, and whatever Bran is now. It is a fail not to present more of this background. The too quick killing of the Dothraki was frustrating, and the complete lack of direwolves is infuriating. The Winterfell battle plan was silly, warning signs that they are racing to an end and throwing aside Gur's vision. I will wait until the end of the series to pass judgment, as they still have 3 more episodes. The showrunners could blow our socks off over the next 3 weeks, or could just make it clear that they are already out the door and have their minds on future projects. I will give them the benefit of the doubt and judge the complete work in a few weeks. To sum up my feelings after the first 3 episodes are that I really enjoyed watching 3 great weeks of television. I am unbelievably excited for whatever comes over the next 3 weeks, and whilst I understand some people are upset about what has happened, I am sad that people are rushing to judgment, and this may lead them to not enjoying the last 3 episodes as much as they otherwise would. Now, some thoughts on the second half of Season 8. The Night King are dead and gone, not coming back to this series. We will see the Starks and Dany mustering all of the remaining people of Westeros to unite against Cersei and Euron under the rallying cry that they oust the Mad Queen Cersei. Each region will be returned to its own people and have self-determined rule, and a centralized throne will be destroyed. This will see Northerners, the Dornish forces, the Vale forces, Ironborn under Yara, the remaining Tully forces led by Edmure, and don't forget the Hill tribes, Tyrion's old friends, and any others I have missed, joining into a force to represent the people of Westeros. Varys has been contacting his people in Essos. This results in Daario bringing men across to join the fight for Dany and Illyrio, and also arranging aid for the Targaryen cause. Bronn will turn and join the Lannister lads in the fight and get his castle. This we will all see the Targaryen/Stark union victorious and in control of Westeros. Dany and Jon will then destroy the throne and its central control and oversee each region, electing their own leader. Removing the central rule of the Iron Throne is removing the great darkness that fell over Westeros, and as such, Dany is the princess that was promised. She breaks the wheel by undoing what the Conqueror did centuries ago and brings light and hope to individual culture back to Westeros. The bitterness in this is the cost that is paid to win. Individual deaths and those that do not survive. The surviving victors have a win, but accepting the task of healing a realm that has been devastated by the dead and especially by the greed and ambition of power-hungry humans is bittersweet. Rebuilding Westeros is a daunting prospect, and that is where the main story ends, with the task about to begin. There are so many small details and individual stories of main characters that I haven't even tried to predict here. I wanted to let you know the broad strokes of what I see happening. Thank you for your time, good sirs. Please feel free, in consideration of everyone's time, to cut and edit and summarize as you see fit. I understand if this is long, perhaps rambling. Apologize, as I do not have time to edit this more deeply. Valar Morghulis, a bannerman has no name. Didn't have to edit it because it's amazing. So,
wow. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Some good stuff in there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are and you and I had read a air quote plot leak. And we watched the video. Remember watching those back in the day? Who's it? Talking Thrones did an episode. He himself didn't release that plot leak or come up with it, but somebody had read it. And now hearing more and more of it, I would say like 2 of the things of that big video of those big video series has actually even come true.
Yeah.
So, but I think a lot of people think that the idea of getting rid of the Iron Throne in general is something that's going to happen.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It would be to see Dany do that. Although her obsession with it makes me, I'm going to keep wondering about it right up until the very end until I see her do it, and I'm going to be shocked if she does. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. All right, that's awesome. Good to hear from him. It's been a bit, so we are going to have another Raven's Nest at the end of this month too, so maybe we'll have him back on to share some of his thoughts there too. So appreciate him writing in.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So what we're going to do again is we're just going to go kind of round robin here, pick somebody, and we're just going to hear your thoughts. What do you think of the episode Battle of Winterfell, and what do you kind of think is going to happen going forward? So I'm going to go ahead and pick Lord Adam Parker because I know he is ready. So, Lord Adam Parker, you are on the air.
Hey, everybody. So 2 quick thoughts about the Battle of Winterfell. The first time I watched it, I had my TV turned to, it's always been a dynamic setting, and it's been getting me through all of Game of Thrones forever, and every TV show I've ever watched for the last 3 years. I've owned this TV. And then I talked to a couple coworkers, other people, and individuals were like, oh, I had to pause it and turn the brightness up on my TV. And I felt like the biggest idiot in the world because I was like, oh, you can do that. I forgot. So the episode was so dark. And let me tell you how dark it was. I flipped to a random scene. I flipped to the picture setting. Brightness was at 40. And I put it to 50. It was in Aria in the library. I didn't know there was a library. And
Yeah.
I put it on 50 and I was like, wow. I put it in 60 and I was like, oh, she has a book. She throws a book. She has people walking around. Like, I couldn't see a single thing the whole first time I watched it. And it was absolutely terrifying. Like my Apple Watch gave me an alert that my heart rate was up above normal because it was so scary. Like the beginning, Sam's hands are shaking and I'm just sitting there like, I can't see a single thing. You hear horses, you hear like the dark screams, right? All of a sudden Melisandre comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh my God, I did not think that was that. And like this and that, I couldn't see anything. Danny and John flying through the air and they're crashing into each other. I couldn't see like any of this. And I was just like, oh wow, like this is so terrifying. I rewatched it. I had the brightness on high. It was a completely different episode. And it comes from like dark, can't see a single thing, to the greatest symphony ever written and produced, the best cinematic anything that I've ever witnessed in any movie, any TV show. I saw Melisandre walking up from like that weird mountain structure. I saw her walking up for like 30 seconds before she comes face to face with Davos.
Yeah.
The colors in this episode were beautiful. They had grays, and the background of grays was like this red hue. And then they had like a blue hue in the background of these grays. And the color scheme was so beautiful and it was so well done. And forget plot, forget anything that happened, right? Just picturesque. If you were a cinematographer or someone, you know, who takes pictures or a painter, any artist, if you're an artist, as an artistic piece, this was the single greatest artistic piece ever. And, you know, the whole episode played out, like I said before, as a symphony. And, you know, there's certain aspects of it, and you can't watch it as a military strategy, right? Like, I know people who are like naval strategists, like that's their career. And the things they can think of, it goes beyond anything, and they're like, oh, it's like, do this, right? That's not what Game of Thrones is about. I don't watch Game of Thrones to, like, you know, the art of war is not Game of Thrones. It's the battles are cool and they're fun, but I'm not watching Game of Thrones to like learn how to defeat my enemies. I'm watching Game of Thrones because it's a fun show. So the whole point of like the Dothraki going early, military strategy, worst decision in the entire history of any military battle ever. Yes, 100%. I got you on that. However, cinematically, artistically, think about it. You have Sam's hand shaking. He is distraught. You can't see a single thing. You know the enemy is there. You know the enemy is right there. And yet, you don't know the enemy, right? You have Dothraki screamers who are the greatest military cavalry, you know, in the history of all of Westeros and Essos. And they're standing there on the front lines. Melisandre comes in out of nowhere. She lights their araks on fire, their swords, they flame. And you get a calm. So your heart's racing, verge of heart attack, and all of a sudden, as soon as their swords light up, you think to yourself, yeah, we got this. Let's go kick some ass.
Yeah.
We have the greatest military, artillery or cavalry ever. They're on horseback. They're Dothraki screamers, and their swords are on fire. The only thing that can defeat the dead is flaming swords. And they charge. And again, cinematically, the way they're charging with the trebuchets, the flaming cannonballs over them, hitting the army of the dead, and you're thinking, yeah, we're gonna F some shit up right now. And then what happened is slowly and slowly their flames disappear.
Yeah.
And you think to yourself, oh my God, we are not ready for this battle. We thought we were ready. We were so pumped. And yet you were slowly becoming distraught. And you're slowly realizing that you have no idea what you're doing. You have zero military ability over the unknown power of the dead. And you're sitting there and you're just going berserk. And you're like, what is happening right now? And that emotion that you're feeling right at that moment is exactly how the director wanted you to feel. So you're unsettled, you're pumped,
Right.
and you're distraught. That wave of emotion is literally like, Mozart can't even write a symphony this beautiful. It's a wave of,
Yeah.
and how many pieces of music have you listened to that you can feel 3 separate emotions in one sequence? And I call it a sequence because it's 20 minutes long?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's long. And this battle was how long? It's an hour and a half. The second time watching it and the first time watching it, it went by so fast. And I had no idea that it went that quick, or it went that long, I should say. It's like the battle ended so quickly. And yet it's an hour and a half. It's the longest show that we've ever had of any Game of Thrones, I think.
Yep.
I didn't do the math, and I don't have any data to back this up.
No, it is. Yeah.
Line of could have been a minute longer. But anyway, longest show ever. And it felt so short. And the whole episode is a battle. I thought the battle was supposed to be 40 minutes long. And this episode was an hour and a half. I was like, oh, cool. Like, we're going to get half battle. No, the entire episode was a battle. It was an hour and a half long battle. And how long did the battle feel? 40 minutes long? 50 minutes long? It felt so short. And the fact that they can pull out this emotion from you. So the first sequence of the Dothraki, extinguishing, was so emotional. And you know how John stupidly charges into battle from emotion? He did it with Rickon.
Right.
He did it with at Hardhome, right? And John pulled Dany back. Daenerys was like, I have to charge into battle. I just lost everything. And John goes, no, wait. And for John to realize at that moment that no, wait, and Daenerys to lose her cool because she's supposed to be hardened or battle hardened, she didn't get emotions affect her. And the fact that she did that and she had to rush in with the dragons, which sure, militarily should have gone dragons first, but whatever. Emotionally, you felt it. You felt her ploy, right then and there. You felt her having to run to her dragon, and you realize that John was back because he's like, no, they destroyed us. You can't do this. You have to stay alive. He was a protector. He's like, you have to stay alive no matter what happens with the battle. And she was like, no, I'm just running. I have to help our side. And that's the first 15 minutes of battle. And that much emotion just happened. And it's it goes for so, it's dark. You're getting blacks. You're getting grays. You're getting, and then the fire happens. Daenerys goes, and you're getting the reds and the hue of red, and you can't see it when it's dynamic setting and it's 40% brightness. When it's 60% brightness, you see all of the colors. You see you see the whites charging. And guys, cinematically, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen on TV.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
And you can't beat it. And it was long. It did not feel long. It was, again, like, I don't even care about strategically, oh, why did you put the Dothraki first and then the Unsullied and the Flaming Trenches? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But again, I see why they did that, because they had my emotions in their hand and they made me feel the way I felt. And they knew what they were doing. The director, amazing director. It was written beautifully. And again, excuse me for the cough. I'm getting over a cold. But it was written so perfectly and so beautifully. I mean, I think this has to be one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever.
Oh, easily.
Just the way it was directed. And again, militarily, I don't agree with most of the military strategy, but it was still, I saw why it was written that way. I saw why the Dothraki had to rush in. I get it. I understand it. And if I'm trying to create the best TV show of history, I'm going to write it the same way. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm doing that too. Like, I'm just messing with your emotions. I don't care if it's like, and you have to give up certain aspects to move your plot forward and move your episode forward. And they did that. And I'm okay with it. Like, I'm certainly okay with them, like, sacrificing military strategy for cinematic adventure. And that's the whole point of watching TV. You know what I mean? If I want to watch World War II documentaries, I'll watch World War II documentaries and find like perfect battles. But like, if I want to watch a cinematic adventure, it takes me away from my life. I'm tuning into Game of Thrones. So that's my take on that one episode.
What did you What did you think about it being Arya instead of, say, Jon or somebody else?
First of all, George R. R. Martin's wife's favorite character is Arya. So like,
yeah.
I feel like he's on. Also, second of all, if I've a couple of minutes here for a platform, I think that it ties the Azor Ahai prophecy together perfectly soundly. And it's like my wife has to sit here and like tell her all of my theories. I go on and you're like, oh, Azor Ahai, the princess promised that, And I was like, do you know who Azor Ahai is? And she's like, only because you told me it 700 times. And I'm like, cool. She's interested in books. She's not interested in any of the books. She doesn't care about any of the books. She actually got me into the show. Like, I was adamant about like not watching the show until she got me into it. She's a show person, and like, Arya's badass. And like, she doesn't know of any prophecy. I was like, oh, but they mentioned the princess promise a couple of times. She's like, oh, did they? When? And I'm like, season 2. She's like, oh,
yeah, about that.
And I'm like, yeah, don't you remember? She's like, no. What is Azor Ahai? But like, reviewing it, and George R. R. Martin said this, I don't know, 100 different times. He's like, a prophecy for this is like prologue that he like the only chapter he released. It was a prophecy is like a mule, and as soon as you think you tame it, it kicks you in the face. And like, the whole point of prophecies is to the fact that don't trust them and don't believe any prophecy you ever hear. And we hear this Azor Ahai prophecy, and we've been talking about this podcast for how long has it been? A year. And how many characters fits Azor Ahai perfectly? Jon, Daenerys, Beric Dondarrion, the Hound, Arya, Bran.
I mean, everybody. I mean, you could make an argument for just about anybody.
Every character fits Azor Ahai almost perfectly. So, who's Azor Ahai? Literally everybody. And you can make an argument. And I've said this like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, the battle's done. Samwell's writing the book, and someone's like, "Oh, so who is Azor Ahai?" And Sam's like, "Oh, it was, we all fought
Yeah.
equally." And like, I don't remember who Azor Ahai was because we all fought perfectly. I've said that jokingly
hmm
for quite some time, but
Yeah.
to me, John fits Azor Ahai perfectly. The only thing I hate about the episode is that Melisandre watched Beric Dondarrion die and she didn't bring him back, and like that's pretty selfish on her part. And like, Beric Dondarrion is my favorite character, as well as some other people that I know's favorite character.
hmm
Even though he's the worst swords, even though he's the worst.
I don't know. I will say when he threw his flaming sword, that was
Oh my
sick.
Oh,
I love that.
Yeah,
awesome.
when I watched it, I
but
laughed thinking about
oh,
Sir Ezra watching it as well, being
I
like,
was losing my mind.
really, I almost texted you guys. I
Yeah.
almost typed it. I almost was like, "Oh, did you see his play? He threw that." But anyway, Beric
Yeah.
Dondarrion is the swordsman of all of Westeros, and that's obviously known. But he's still one of our favorite characters.
Right.
And the fact that like he died to serve his purpose for Arya, and like Melisandre did not bring him back, like that's pretty fucked up, guys.
hmm
And she was in the room with him and stood there, like Arya was doing her thing, and Melisandre just literally stood there and didn't bring him back. And I was like, you kind of have this power. If I have like a water pitcher and you guys are thirsty, and I'm like, well, you served your purpose, like
hmm
you don't get water. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's pretty rude. So that's the only thing I hated about the entire episode
Yeah.
was that. But like, so John gets brought back, and people are like, okay, so Beric got brought back for a reason, and that was obviously the reason. So why did John get brought back? We have 60% runtime. It was 60% of the season left. So
hmm
like we still have a lot more show to go. But I think that John was brought back for a purpose, and I think he kind of fulfilled that purpose too. Like I think that his point was the fact that at season 5 he wanted everyone to come together. He was like, all the Southern Kings can't stop them, and all the people can't stop them, only together we stop them, like he did that speech season 5 before Hardhome, and like John united all of the northern kingdoms together. He did that. He also brought Daenerys north, and he did that. And like the only reason they beat the Night King is because of Daenerys and her army, and excuse me. So like,
Mhm.
if you're taking a look at the prophecy, I think John fits it perfectly. Obviously, we know he born again, salt and smoke. I think he was born under a bleeding star, and I think that Dawn, being the sword of Arthur Dane, that was blooded and is a bleeding star, right? And that was
Mhm.
when John was born. That fulfills that part of it. John waking dragons out of stone. This is the hardest one to fulfill. Guess what? Daenerys went to Dragonstone to go to Westeros. Excuse
Mhm.
me. She went to Dragonstone to go to King's Landing to beat Cersei. And what happened? John showed up and woke Daenerys up to make Daenerys go north. Daenerys was not going to go north, and he woke up the dragon from Dragonstone. He woke
Yeah.
the dragon from stone to bring her north to defeat the army of dead. That's clear as day. That was the
I
hardest
love it.
part of the prophecy. And then him pulling the Lightbringer out of the fire. If he was shouting "go go go," which I mean he could have been and he could not have been, like whatever, you see closed captions and stuff, and if Arya was, he pulled the time out of the burning dragon for Arya, but like more importantly is like Arya is not Azor Ahai, so she's not Azor Ahai. She can be, she fits most of the prophecy, but she's not. I think John is Azor Ahai because he brought everybody together. He won this great war, and I think honestly, I think Arya is Lightbringer. And if you look at Lightbringer, right, it's like it was tempered in water and broke. Tempered in the heart of a captured lion, it was broke. It was tempered in the heart of the loved one who was sacrificed out of love and survived. Well, look at Arya, right? Her water dancer was killed. So tempered in water dancer, and broke.
Mhm.
That's one person she loves.
Yeah.
They captured Jaime. They captured a lion. What happened because they captured lion? Well, they ended up killing Ned Stark. That's the second person she loves. She broke. And then the Night's Watch, they sacrificed Jon out of the goodness for the Watch. They thought they were doing the right thing, and they were crying while they stabbed him in the heart. And they sacrificed Jon, essentially. They betrayed him. They loved him. You know, he was a great Lord Commander, and they loved him, and they sacrificed him for the goodness of this tempering of this sword. And they stabbed him in the heart, and he died. But his soul was captured, in Ghost, and his soul captured and became back alive. And that was the one that created Lightbringer. And Jon coming back to life. And in the shows, Arya's going to go south to kill Cersei. And why does she go? Because Jon is the king of the north. So Jon's soul being captured and surviving, which made him king of the north, is what brought Arya there, what tempered her final. So she broke after the first two people that she loved the most, and the third person she loves most in the world, she survived. And even in the show, she asked, "How did you survive?" Part he goes, "I didn't." So so that being said, like, Arya is 100% Lightbringer, and Jon is 100% Azor Ahai, and another group, someone brought up the wolf pack, right? The lone wolf dies, but the pack survives. Jon, he's not a lone wolf. Sansa's not a lone wolf. Bran's not a lone wolf. Arya's not a lone wolf. However, those four wolves together killed the Night King, and they each played a part, right? Like, sure, Bran was watching the Avengers during the whole attack. Present. Jon was doing his business, and Sansa was the crypts. Like, I honestly, like, I thought Sansa was going to do more of a Blackwater type of, like, singing and praying with everybody and, like, calming everybody down. Like, I was pretty disappointed. She was just like, "Oh, if the Dragon Queen wasn't here, we'd be cool." But, like, I know, like, that also, like, made me a little upset. I'm like, lady, like, come on, you calmed everyone down single-handedly in Blackwater. Like, do that one more time. Like, you are the master of, like, surviving battles in the basement of some place, like, hidden.
Right.
Like, do your part. But anyway, so Sansa did her part, Arya did her part, and as the wolf pack is there, and they're, like, telling you this, the writers are telling you this, like, the wolf pack is what killed the Night King. The wolf pack survived the winter, and they're telling you this. Wolves actually do this. Jon's the Azor Ahai, and he's bringing everyone together, and the whole point is that he's bringing all the wolves together. And to me, the prophecy fits perfectly. And so for me, which, again, show doesn't do prophecy, my wife doesn't do prophecy, and I was like, "Hey, you want to hear how the prophecy was fulfilled?" And she's like, "No," and I was like, "Great, I'll tell you anyway." So I explained perfectly and I was like, the prophecy is certainly 100% fulfilled, which is not a show thing, but it's still fulfilled. So, like, to me, I'm like, wow, nailed it, and now let's go deal with hashtag for the throne, hashtag Game of Thrones. It's like, the Night King is 100% a threat. Is he the main threat? No, Cersei's the biggest, baddest character of the villain of all time. She's like, you know what I mean? She's like the perfect villain. I love her so much. She's perfect. She's a beautiful actor. She's just, she can act anything. But, like, she's the threat. She's the main threat that we see. And she's the number one thing that's stopping him. So, like, yes, it's 100% important to stop the Night King, because if you hadn't stopped the Night King, the whole North and, neck would be dead. And that would suck. And that would obviously be a thing. But, like, guess what? You stop that threat, and there happen to be two threats. World War II, there was a two-front war, like, it's been written about in books. Like, all quite along, Germany had two fronts that they had Russia on one side, and then they had the West on the other side. And it's like, Germany had to deal with one threat and then deal with the other. They didn't succeed and they lost the war, which is good, obviously. But like, had they dealt with one threat and then dealt with the other, it's the same thing. It's like if the northern folk and like Jon and Daenerys got caught in the middle of two threats, if Cersei's army went north and the southern the Night King came south, they would have been in the middle of a crossfire and they would not have survived. So you have to deal with one threat and eliminate it and deal with the other. And it's like, you did that. It's been a lead up. I mean, all 100% of episode 2 Winterfell. And it's like your day before the battle. And 80% of episode 1 was in Winterfell. Again, leading up for the battle. And you did the threat and the threat's gone. Now let's go to King's Landing for Cersei. She's the biggest threat here. And for future predictions, to end this, I have 0 future predictions. Actually, I have one, but I don't want to say it out loud just in case it comes true. Okay. But I think that so Arya kills Cersei and steals her face, and Jaime kills Cersei, but it's Arya wearing her face. So Jaime kills Arya, and then that sucks. Wow, that's very sad. And he didn't know Arya. He thought it was Cersei. He goes to kill Cersei, and you're like, oh wait a minute. Like same thing with Walder Frey being killed in like the beginning of season 7. You're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I can't remember you dying before. Why are you back? And you like 100%. I forgot about it. But they like killed him. They used to kill them on screen, and you forgot about it. So it's like one of those things where it's like, wait, isn't this happened already? So it's Cersei. Jaime kills Cersei. Technically, Valonqar. Also, Arya would still be Valonqar because it's gender neutral. So Jaime kills Arya, pretending to be Cersei, and then like she becomes Arya again, and then like Jon kills Jaime or something like that, and like
Jaime,
it's just Jaime kills like everyone, like it's like just everyone killing everybody. That's what I think would happen, and like I said, I don't want to say it out loud because I don't want it to happen, but like that'd be kind of cool, but like sucking.
That would be crazy though. That actually
so crazy.
Oh, wow.
And then my only other prediction is that Jaime goes to kill Cersei. The man stabs Jaime. Jaime ends up strangling Cersei, and Jaime dies from wounds stained by the mountain. But Sandor Clegane, the Hound, and Arya at the same time fend off the mountain from Jaime, so that's why they don't kill him right away. So he like still has time to fight, so he can like finish Cersei, and they die in each other's arms, just like how they were born. Because I think that might have been said by one of the two characters, like, "Oh, we'll die in each other's arms." And then you get also the Clegane Bull of the Hound, like, and the Mountain, they're together, and then also you get the Hound and Arya fighting together, which is, above, and they're fighting again. That would be my favorite ending, but I think the face stealing will come back.
Yeah.
Also, I think we'll see Littlefinger, and it's obviously Arya, but
the face.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Other than that, those are my only predictions. I don't care. I mean, obviously I care, but like I don't have any predictions, like, fighting and stuff. Like I just want to see what these guys are doing because they're not idiots. They're writing a good thing and they have so much pressure on them. And I think that they did the best job that they think they can do. And I will just view whatever happens as like perfect. Like it's whatever they do. If I disagree with it, if it's that Arya shit, like with Jaime, like, killing Arya, like that'll suck. But like, if that's what they think is best, like I'm going to watch it. I'm happy for it because I think they're trying their hardest to give us what we, not like specifically what we want, but like what they have to end it, and they have to end it well, and like Endgame and excuse me, Avengers Endgame ended very well, and it's very hard to finish something that's been going on for 10 years, and Avengers has been going on for 10 years, and they ended that beautifully. However, and the Double D's are trying their hardest to also end Game of Thrones has been going on for 10 plus years. Well, and I know like Lost, like people hated how that ended. Like it's very hard to end something that's been going and this poignant in our lives. And this, like, we've been talking about this, like Game of Thrones fans have been here for 20 plus years theorizing the end. And to end to that, excuse me, is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm not the one writing it, because that's the worst.
Yeah.
And in the interview, these guys are like, we're going to go on vacation and not talk to people until like everyone's done. And they're like, they can't be in public for the end. You're like, and I wouldn't either. And I don't blame them. And like, I can't do it. So props to them for like ending this thing. It's going to be the hardest ending, and it's not going to be what we want. It's not going to be our desired fan fiction. And I'm going to live with that, and I'm going to be happy, and just, I'm here for cinematic adventure. Like I said in the beginning, like I'm just here to watch it. And like, that's why I started watching it, because it's a great show. And I'm going to end watching it because it's a great, beautiful show. And I can't wait to see how they end it. And I'm just going to watch it. So I don't want to make any bold predictions and say this, because I don't want to be wrong. And I'll probably be wrong. And whatever I choose is going to be perfect in my mind. It's not going to be perfect. And that's okay. And I'm going to live with that. So I'm excited for them to end it. I'm going to be sad. I'll watch the whole series again, I promise.
Okay. All right. Nice. So
that's
nice.
Long-winded, but
it's great.
No, it's good. It's good. Okay. All right. Let's grab.
That is great.
Yeah. Let's grab somebody else here.
While you're doing that, I just wanted to say, like, Lodan Parker, that I'm glad he said what he said about the show, right, the position that they're in, because he's totally right. It's extremely hard position to be in, and so, and I don't even know whether I would want. I don't even know what I want for the next 3 episodes. I didn't know what I wanted when we started the season. So it's sort of like, think about what you actually want out of this. Really think about it. Like, okay, if I could sit down and write it, this is how it would go. And then ask your buddy like what they think. And they're gonna shred whatever it is that you wrote. So it's tough, man. It's so tough. So no, Lord Parker, you're fine. We appreciate the thoughts, man. This is what this is about. This is for a chance for you guys to give your thoughts. So this is awesome. I was just listening, because that's the kind of energy that we like. When Matt and I listen to other podcasts and things, like, we love listening to people's energy. So.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your guys' platform. So who is ready to go next? If not, I'm just gonna grab somebody. I'm just gonna go ahead and pick. All right, Maglum is ready. Okay, boom. So I'm gonna go with him. Okay, you are on.
Good evening, everybody.
Hey, good evening.
Wow.
So first of all, loved hearing Lord Adam Parker talk. Thanks for all that. It's good to always like you said, just hear the passion. It's so good.
Yeah.
And first of all, I want to say, I don't get where all the hate is coming from for this episode. I can get, like, in a theoretical level, like people saying, oh, the Night King was ended too quickly, but I can see on so many other levels the quality in the episode and all the things, and the reason, the way it fits into the larger storytelling structure, because I can see this as a bit of a disservice, but what the Night King has served in a narrative purpose is to essentially make Cersei a bigger threat. Because as things were, stacking up the sides against each other, what they both had, Cersei had no chance of beating Daenerys, honestly. I'd say, like, even with the Golden Company, she's not got a big chance of beating Daenerys. Then you get rid of the Dothraki screamers completely. You get rid of a lot of the Unsullied. You get rid of a lot of the Northmen.
Yeah.
Dany's force is really looking not too great now. So, like what Lord Adam Parker said, you might have to see this whole rallying of all of Westeros together to dethrone the Mad Queen, get her out of there. So it gives a purpose for everyone to sort of come together more against a common enemy.
Right.
Because they've gotten weakened. They can't take them on quite anymore. So I think that's why they killed off the Night King, how they did, and how they used him, why they did. So I'm kind of interested to see if they do it again, if they do it differently in the books, because there are more factions in play in the books. Because in the books, isn't the Golden Company possibly going to ally with young Griff in that?
They are. Yeah, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a big difference you're going to have to see there. So there's going to be more different groups in play. Second little random thing about the show. I'm very much on Team Dany. I'm very much on her side. A lot of people have gotten really hating on Dany lately.
Mhm.
And it's just feels really mean to me because like, oh my gosh, she's so obsessed over the throne. I'm like, oh, you mean that thing that she's been, dedicating her life to for the past, what, like 6 or 7 years? Oh, gee, I wonder why she'd be upset when someone else just comes up and says, hey, I got a better right to take this than you. Gee, I wonder why she's upset. It's like,
right.
It's so close for her now. It's in reaching distance. And she could have taken it already. Like they established early on in like season 7, I think.
Right.
She could have taken it. She could have flown her dragons over there, burned down the Red Keep, taken it, and said, yeah, I'm queen now.
Right.
And she didn't for like various reasons. But so you can see why she's getting impatient, why she gets annoyed at things. But I think what's such a redeeming moment for her in this episode 3 is when Jon is like, after he's taken the tumble off Rhaegal, and I hope Rhaegal's all right. They didn't show him dying, and they didn't show him rising up, so I assume he's all right. So
yeah,
Rhaegal.
they do. When you watch the preview for the next episode, you do see him flying in there.
Oh, that's good. That's good. The ones who I want to live the most are Sam and the dragons because yes, but well, Sam's lovely, and the dragons are the last of their kind.
Yeah.
So when he falls off, she lands Drogon down to defend him. She could have just let him die there and said, well, there goes my competition for the throne. Whoopsies. I couldn't have done anything. And no one would have been able to fault her. No one knew what was going on. They could have just seen like Jon fell and died like really quickly and she couldn't have done anything. But she chose to go and save him. Yeah. So people are saying like, oh, Daenerys can turn into a villain. I'm like, no, I don't think she will. I at least I hope she won't because there's still like this thing that like, yeah, she wants the throne, but she's not willing to forsake her humanity for it, which I think is a very key point for her.
Right.
She loves him. Yeah, she loves Jon. Right.
Yeah, I mean that's why I really like that line she said to Sansa about I'm fighting Jon's war.
Yeah. Magnum, real quick to one of your points, the idea is that Jon finds out he's a Targaryen, and she's been fighting for House Targaryen her whole life. You know, and that's everything to her. She's been trying to put her family back in that spot. So it's shock and everything. So I get you.
Like, she wouldn't have imagined this coming.
No.
Not at all. And it's just such a hard moment for her. And I think that given time, because people are saying like, oh, she's just going to go and fight him. It's like, well, this was immediately before the battle. They didn't have much time to talk it over. So maybe given the next episode.
Right, and if you also remember the beginning of that episode when she's having issues with Sansa, when Jaime shows up and she wants to kill him, and she looks to Jon for his decision, and Jon says, we need every man we can get, and Jon gets up and walks away without really kind of consoling Dany. So she's, you can kind of see it in her face. She's like something, it looks like something's up. And then when she comes down to see Jon in the crypt, she kind of comes up to him and he's standing there and, she kind of hugs him. And then it's all kind of explained. So, she's in a weird place. She's in their home. She's having issues with Sansa. So I think
in a weird place too at this time.
Yeah. And I think there's a lot going on for her as well.
Yeah. One other thing I want to gush about though recently, like a lot of Empire guys gushed about the visuals, the music. Oh yeah, like I think it was Lord Empire who actually linked the track to me because I was asking about the track. I think it's called The Night King. When you've got it at the end there, when it's like all the stuff coming together and the Night King's approaching Bran and like everything just all falls away, and you've got this like piece going on, and the strings in that piece are so powerful, and I love it. It's just this overlying menace and building tension, and it keeps going and going and going, and then Arya shows up and it's like that's like, people ask why like it's such a hype moment for Arya showing up. I'm a big believer in the power of music, so I believe that part of the reason why it's such an amazing moment when Arya shows up is just the musical build up did that to us. But by the same token, it still doesn't top Old Stones for me. Old Stones was such a nice lovely moment, just seeing everyone before that, and I've just I'm learning it. I'm learning Old Stones, but it's such a pretty song, and it's so lovely. And just like seeing everyone just at these last moments of calm before everything goes down. Yeah. Everything goes down, and
so great.
Goes downhill. It's an exciting moment. That's not excitement. It's like it's this subtle tension, subtle sadness, longing for like come. And I like as well.
And that's part of the thing that I think people don't realize is we waited so long, and it gives them more time to spend on the editing and filming and planning. I mean, just something that we had mentioned in the episode, our review of it was, think about how long the Battle of Winterfell would have taken to write and choreograph and special effects, and let's have this shot. You know, when I want this guy to fall down and I want it to zoom in on this guy's face, and I mean, so many things.
Yeah, like just like Lord Adam Parker mentioned, you see Sam's hand shaking. So Sam is so fucking brave. He's so brave because he's terrified there. Yet he came out. Everyone's saying just hide in the crypt, Sam. And he came out to fight against this thing, which he knows the full extent of what it can do. He's so horribly terrified, but he's like, I can't just not be here.
Yeah,
and it's like,
right.
Oh God, love Sam.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because that is so true. I mean, somebody was giving him some crap somewhere. I was reading something, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? I mean, he is out there, Sam the Slayer, going at it. So
yeah,
right.
Like, yeah, he gets scared and he screams and like he's getting overwhelmed, but he's not a great fighter. He's never been a good fighter.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So Maglum, any thoughts moving?
Yeah, going forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so I reckon next episode is going to be a cool down episode because we've just had this build up, this tension, this bam, heavy episode. Next episode is going to be a cool down episode. Everyone de-stressing and figure out where they're going to go from here. So we're going to have to see like, we're going to see Dany and Jon working out like what's going to happen between the two of them for the sake of this with the throne. That I don't know whether I agree with Lord Adam Parker about the throne being destroyed or not. I could potentially see it happening, but I'm dubious. But then again, I was dubious about like the theory. I remember someone suggested the theory on this podcast that the dagger from book 1 would be Lightbringer, and I was like, nah. But
yeah. That's funny.
Like I could be wrong, but I don't think that. I think, and my kind of ongoing hope is that Cersei isn't destroyed by their armies. My ongoing hope is that Cersei just ends up being rioted against by the people, and she gets thrown out basically because the people have to get sick of what she's doing at some point, and she's just been going. She's attacked their faith, like, which was a good move, and I was happy that she did what she did, but she attacked their faith, which is a big thing for the people of the city. She's been like kind of responsible for the death of one of the kings. She's done all this stuff. She's like kind of oppressive, and she's going at all this stuff. She's made an alliance with the Ironborn, which I don't think the people of King's Landing would honestly like. Like the only thing that's probably keeping them on her side right now is the promise that, these foreign invaders, they're going to get you. They're going to get you good. But it's like that. How long will that hold out? I want to see her get her coming through from her own actions. She made these bad decisions. She's upset everyone around her. She said, I don't need any friends. I don't need any allies. I just need me. I just need, well, Jaime's basically the one she really cares about that much. She's like, I don't need people to like me. And like, what was it? A man without friends is a man without power. And so she just destroys herself in the end by alienating everyone. That's like my kind of hope, is that it's her own actions that bring about her downfall most.
Yeah. I like that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. So great. I love Magnum. I love your energy. It's just that's so epic.
Let's see here. So who wants to go next? Just post in the comments here. Otherwise, I think I may go with Lady Sarah if she is ready.
Yeah.
All right.
See if Lady Sarah's.
Lady Sarah, I have you unmuted. Hey, there you are.
Okay. Hi guys.
Hey.
Yay, this is super exciting, and I'm ready for like bold predictions from everyone.
Yeah. Yep. So, what were your thoughts though on the last episode? You know, did like were you emotional? Were you just?
Well, I've watched it, I would say 3 times, probably 3.5 times. The first time it was just like a scary movie. Couldn't even make me feel what I felt like before, during, after. It was so much. It was so rich, and there wasn't really any from a critical point of view at all. It was just kind of like a moment. I don't know. We'll probably get it again in the last episode, The second time, I felt a little bit more critical about it. You're just kind of wondering, like, well, why they did this, why they pulled this move, that move, whatever.
Sure.
And then to get to the third time, I was in my room, every single light out, pitch black, right before bed. And I just kind of let it wash over me, kind of how like Lord Adam Parker was talking about.
Yeah.
Just sat and took it in, and it's like you could just see the little threads that maybe if you're just a casual show viewer, you might not pick up some of the things that they put in between the lines. You look at when Arya's on the roof and the Hound is he's done. He says, we can't beat this. This is death. This is inevitable. Sorry to quote Thanos right there. But Beric telling him, go tell that to her. And then he sees Arya, and both of them are just like after her. And like, you can see them literally like throwing her forward in that hallway once they get kind of overrun and everything. And Beric starts to go down. Like, the Hound picks her up a few times, but like Beric literally kind of like throws her forward. And like, I just like had tears, just like silent tears coming down. It was so beautiful. And then, the Melisandre, it's like, as much as there's a love-hate relationship with her, that moment of just all of them being in that room and when she says blue eyes, it was like, oh, yeah.
This is happening.
Lord. Yeah. And so, first, Arya killing him. At first I was like, wow, okay, I didn't see that coming. I don't really understand yet, but maybe I will. And I think, as the books continue, as we go through the rereads, we are going to see huge threads about her. And I mean, we already do. The Great Other. What do we say to the God of Death? It's just
right.
It's there.
Right.
Yep. Wow. That's awesome. That's cool. Okay. So yeah, any thoughts, I guess, what are your bold predictions going forward?
I would say, as far as like the Iron Throne is concerned, we've always had Dany talking about breaking the wheel. We have Jon, who was the unwilling ruler, and then we have Cersei, who was literally our Mad Queen. And so I think, as far as prophecies are concerned, Dany having a baby with Jon, I know, he made that remark like, oh yeah, you're just going to believe a witch about this. But, let's say that she really can't have a baby. And then now we need to look at Jon. He's undead. So it's like, what would that be like if he got somebody pregnant? You know what I mean? What would that kind of produce? And so, say that they don't have children together. They say everything's happy and we get this beautiful white wedding and Sansa's hand to the king and Tyrion's hand to the queen and wolf and dragon come together. They're going to have a more democratic type of, a democracy to complete the lineage of everything. And so I think we're going to just see, as cliche kind of as it is, I think as far as the Iron Throne is concerned, a prediction, it would be that, we probably, it's not that we won't see anybody on it. We'll just see people being chosen because I think it'll all come back to Aegon the Conqueror and his two sister wives, Rhaenys and Visenya.
Yep.
The two sons that he allegedly had with them. You have Aenys, who was born from Rhaenys, who tended to be fond of singers and bards and things like that. And Aegon, as much as it seemed like he seemed to prefer her, maybe he just liked her more as a sister, like how Jon probably liked Arya more than Sansa growing up. And then I think once she, got pregnant, I really don't think that was Aegon's son. And I think Visenya knew she had to do something to make her, self just as important. And so I think she did, the dark magic, blood magic, whatever. She'd always been rumored to dabble in it. And so I think we have these two sons that come from that come from Aegon the Conqueror, but they don't really come from him. And so those lines extend to other lines. And then now we come back to Cersei, say she really is pregnant. It's quite possible that Qyburn did something similar with her, with blood magic, dark magic, to produce some sort of unnatural baby. And, I think the loop always comes down to like, what really is succession? What is lineage? What's in a name? A rose by any other rose is, or by any other name is still a rose. So
yeah.
So first of all, drop in some freaking World of Ice and Fire knowledge there.
That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I love it. Yeah. So are you kind of building towards like a Jon and then his two air quote sisters, like Sansa and Arya? Like helping?
No. Just in the sense that like, I don't think Aegon was really like, they always say that Targaryens, what brother to sister, cousin to cousin, to keep the line pure.
Yeah.
I just wonder, we still have no idea what any of his like true motives were when he came from Dragonstone. But it seems like maybe he had just a straight up friend relationship with his sisters, versus this romantic type deal. Or maybe just a loose understanding as far as romantic partners are concerned. But that's not Jon and Arya and Sansa. Oh my god.
Well, if I don't know if it's all business, you had me excited there for a second, because I mean I'm all starts just ruling in any way possible. So
spreading the seed all over.
Yeah. That's awesome. Cool. Okay, I like that a lot. Well, any other thoughts? Are we good there on with Lady Sarah?
I think that's it. Unless you guys have any ideas if maybe Qyburn is producing his own dead army. Maybe that.
Yeah, I am. I will say he picked up the hand and got some ideas. I'm not saying that hand is still alive, but I do think something will come to play with that.
Good God, Lady Sarah's holding back on us. I mean, another army of the undead. I mean, wow.
He has quite a few test subjects. He's whatever happened to Septa Unilla, the shame nun.
Oh yeah,
right.
There's still what he did to the mountain, and then the two Dornish, the one that Cersei kissed and they were chained down in the dungeons.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Sand snakes. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
All right, we're gonna go to the Sorceress of the Rabbit Hole.
I like it.
All right,
it's a great name.
Yeah, you're
great
on.
Name.
You're on. So.
Hey.
Hey.
Hi guys, can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's my first time. I'm nervous. Hello.
Oh, don't be nervous.
This is great.
It's only going to be about 30,000 people listening, so you're
yeah.
Perfect. That's exactly what I want to hear, friends. Well, in regards to the Battle of Winterfell, I'm like everybody else. I can't quite explain it as beautifully as Lord Adam Parker and the other guys, but I literally watched it Sunday night, and I stopped after I freaking out because Arya is my favorite character. I've been riding for Arya since day one. So I was tickled that she was the one to kill the Night King. But so I literally stopped for about 10 minutes, gathered myself, and then restarted it and watched it again. And I can't say enough good things about it. I mean, sure, there's things I would like to change or whatever, but I think we should just enjoy it. I mean, this is the most amazing show that's exist and might ever exist. So just have fun with it. It kind of left me thinking, and I posted about this in our group the other day, kind of where we go from here as far as I'm not one of those that thinks necessarily is dead. I think that's over. But like, what is the supernatural, not the dragons, but like the actual gods and things like that? Like, what role is that going to have going on? Or is it just going to be the politics from now on? So like with Melisandre, I kind of question like all of these horrible things, these sacrifices and things that she did. Like, did she do that and it actually did benefit the realm? You know, I mean, I hate to see it when little Princess Shireen died. That was one of the most heartbreaking moments of the show. But is that something that actually helped you guys, you know? So it kind of makes you think. So are we going to have more of that? And I think with Bran, I hope that we find out that he wasn't watching the Avengers while he was during the battle, but that maybe there was more to it. Maybe there was something. I just hope there was more to that, and that there will be. You know, Game of Thrones is a political show. That's why I fell in love with it. But I don't think that's it. I just don't think that is it when it comes to this. I don't know if we'll get more backstory. I don't necessarily think that's the case, but I do think Bran is going to kind of be who our story follows now. Like maybe he's going to be our guy. He might not be the hero like Jon or Dany, but I think he's going to have a bigger part to play than we might think. And I don't necessarily have like a theory on what he will do, but I think we need to keep an eye out for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a quick question for you. So the idea then that you fell in love with it because of politics, and religion also influences people quite a bit, and you can use religion, to get people to follow your cause or whatever. So I have also wondered, like, R'hllor and what's going to happen when, like, are they going to tell the tale of Melisandre? Does that bring more followers to R'hllor and away from the Seven, or how do the Seven stick around? You know,
I wonder that too, and I wonder if she knew all along. And you know, we have to remember, where did Melisandre? What did she do in Volantis or wherever, Ashai or wherever she went when she left Varys on that cliff? I mean, she left and went back to Essos before she came back. What was she doing? So I'd like to see what was going on there. So I wonder if after this, like you said, maybe we're going to get some red priests kind of coming in. And that was part of the plan. You know, these people, I would love to see her again. I love her. But I think, listen, I'm a Southern girl. I'm from North Carolina. Religion is a big thing, you know, in a lot of places. But I grew up, you know, in the church, Baptist, and it's a big, you know, when my family, when they elect politicians, a lot of it is more religion based than you know what they and really, you know, so it makes me wonder again, like you asked, in a political show, I think there's going to be more to it, you know, not a High Sparrow type situation, but I just think there's going to be more, especially the part that Melisandre played here. I don't think it just ends with her falling and turning to dust. I think there was more to it. Well, real quick on that note, you know, you made me think of something. So when she leaves and comes back, you were talking about Shireen earlier and how her sacrifice, you know, Melisandre sometimes misreads things or is not quite sure about what's going to happen. I wonder if when she left, she went and got like clarity, and if there was something from like their ordering, because she comes back and almost knows like exactly what needs to happen. Absolutely. And she hits like three main points. You know, she comes in, she lights, you know, the Dothraki weapons. And then she comes and she lights the trenches. And those are, first of all, the Dothraki, I feel like even though they were decimated, that was kind of an important thing to happen, because it kind of gave the other people like, okay, like it's about to get real here. You know what I mean? Like we need to kind of breathe. And I think the trenches, even though we didn't get like a big explanation on that, I kind of understood what they were going for. And I mean, when she lit those, thank goodness she did, because they would have been, I mean, that bought them some time, a lot of time. And then her last thing that she accomplished was gearing Arya in the right direction. And I mean, come on, because Arya, bless her heart, was, you know, had a concussion most likely and was kind of shaken, and she might have spent the rest of the battle in that room. And if Mel hadn't been there. So it makes me wonder too, like, I hope we find out, because they made such a point in season 7 of her telling Varys, like, I am going to go, you know, back to Essos, but I will be back.
Yeah.
What's the point of that? What
Yeah.
did she do? But like you said, when she burned Shireen, and she was so, I think she kind of went through a period of frustration. Like, wait a minute, I just knew Stannis was the guy. I backed him. And she talked about, I saw the Stark banners, flying in Winterfell. Well, they did, but it wasn't for Stannis. So yeah, so I hope, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
too, I'd like to see if those red priests kind of trickle on into Westeros.
Yeah, because we know
'cause I
historically,
think-
the religion influences the fluctuation and stuff. That would be interesting to see.
Well, and think of the songs that are going to be sung about the Red Woman. I mean, really, that, and people, come on, what have the Seven done for them lately? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Right.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where religion goes, but I would like. I think that's going to go hand in hand as we go forward. And I know we only have 3 episodes left, but I like to think that it's not just going to be the politics. I think we're going to have some more supernatural things,
elements. Yeah.
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 Well, that's good. Okay. Do you any bold predictions on like maybe who lives or who dies? Do you have any idea or any thoughts, or what would you like to see? I guess.
I'll be honest. There's so many things that I'd like to see, and it gets into kind of like a fan fiction type.
Yeah.
But I think I just want to enjoy it. But I do think one of my main things, and I don't know if this is a bold prediction, I think a lot of people are on board with this. I just don't think there's going to be an Iron Throne left. I don't know that we'll regress into back to what it was before Aegon, but I think it might be a third option. I don't know, but I do think, I just don't see Dany living through the end of this show. I just don't. I don't know why. She was one of my favorite characters, but
sure.
I'm getting a little concerned about her. Not Mad Queen kind of thing, but I don't know. I think it would be too obvious. And I don't know if the ending of the show is going to be like the books. George R. R. Martin, my gosh, the man's a genius. But I just think it's too obvious for him. I think John's too obvious. I'd love to see Sansa and Tyrion team up, and
let's go.
Let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I would love that. I do think I think Jaime and Cersei, that death has to go hand in hand. I just can't. I don't think I'd be satisfied any other way. And I hate to say that, but those two, she made such a point of like, they came into the world together. They belong together. I think they're going to leave the world together too. I don't know how, but we'll see. I look forward to it though. Either way, I look forward to it.
All right.
It's awesome.
All right. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's
Thanks,
awesome.
guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Alrighty. Wow. I like that.
All right. I think we have Barisa next.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Barisa,
tell us if we're pronouncing. Are we
Barisa? You may need
are
to
we pronouncing that right?
You may need to click on your microphone and turn it on. I think you have it muted currently. So in the bottom right corner there's a little microphone button. You just click it and it should unmute you.
Yeah, and we can come right back to you too if you're still
if you're not ready. But
actually, there she goes.
There we go.
Hey, am I on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, all.
Awesome.
First time, a little nervous. A lot of great insights and thought leaders on the call. So hopefully I don't get a little just a little nervous about this.
Yes.
First you'll be fine.
And how do you pronounce your name?
And that's just it's Barisa.
Barisa. Okay.
Barisa.
Yeah.
Sweet. Got it.
All right, cool. So first of all, haters are going to hate the show, right? I thought the show was sheer brilliance. I easily thought that the long night could have easily been named The Redemption. I think there are a lot of people who were redeemed. Jaime, who came and fought the battle, Theon, all these people, Danny,
Jorah,
Jorah, who all these people who multiple times were left out and have come back to redeem themselves.
Yeah.
And I think, that easily, like, when HBO released a show and there wasn't a title, I could have easily this easily could have been like the redemption, because of all these people who literally came back and redeemed themselves and fought the good fight.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
The cinematography was amazing. I had no issues with my TV. I think, listen, you got millions of whites coming at you. It's not going to be sunlight and rainbows. It's going to be millions of whites. The more dead, the colder it has to be. So of course it's going to be really cold, really snowy, and really dark. That to me added to the suspense and the stress. I felt very stressed. I'm going to, by tomorrow night, I'll see the show 6 times. The first, and I get more out of it each time I see it.
Sure.
The first time I watched it, and my husband was sitting across, I was very stressed out.
Yeah.
The tension, it was very like tension, and Lord Parker, you're an amazing storyteller. Totally, when you were on before, I was reliving the imagery based on your storytelling. Out I remember that. I remember the lighting and thinking, "Oh, we got this battle. We're going to win." And then you see the Dorothy right off, and you're like, "Oh my god, what the hell happened?" And I think one of the most beautiful thing on the film was when you're standing back on Winterfell and you see all the lighting of the swords going across the entire field. It was breathtaking.
Right.
And additionally, I'm sorry, I'm a Targaryen girl. I'm for Dany.
Yeah.
The dragon fights, they did was simply breathtaking. I've never. My husband and I have been Lord of the Ring fans, with dragons and everything like that.
Right.
I don't think I've ever seen anything, especially when you see the two of the Drogon and Rhaegal go up above the clouds.
Yeah.
Stunning. And I'm just like, the whole, again, the tension of them going through this, going through everything. And then, like I said, I sat there when I was watching it the first time. What the hell's John doing? Like, I think what is he? I'm like, what? And then I watched and I saw him. Oh, he took Rhaegal and he's sitting on the castle. He's in front of there trying to protect Bronn. And I didn't realize that the first time there was so much. And I think they actually, they did that. They made the show very confusing because you're just like, what the hell's going on? I can't, there's so much going on. I can't, because I think they wanted to put us in the sense of the characters.
Yeah.
There's
that's
so
a good way
much
to put it.
going on, right? And they wanted us to feel the tension of what would you do? I go, easier to sit behind a TV and say, if I was there and I would have done the battle this way.
Right.
When you have thousands of people, like without Arya and that whatever happened, they would have lost. It was sheer overload, and they were done.
Yeah.
And I also think what was interesting, as soon as Melisandre and Arya met each other, and the comment was made, and she took off. I'm like, I think she's doing it. She's the assassin, and the girl's on a mission. And
right.
Little things that I missed was when they're in there and you see one of the Night King's soldiers, or his hair moves in a light breeze. And you go back and you see that.
Yeah.
That's Arya sneaking past him.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
Predictions for myself, and hopefully that just, I'll watch it. I'll go marathon watching tomorrow before the 9:00 show here in New York City for the next episode. Predictions. I have none, right? I literally just want to sit back and enjoy it.
Right.
I think that the story about breaking the throne. I think I'm in that camp. I never heard that before, and I think that because Dany is the breaker of chains, right? She broke the chains. She wants to break the wheel, and I think what she once it get down there, and what's going to happen to the North when you become the, the queen and everything like that. I could almost see, like, again, redemption, a redeeming quality of her going down to, King's Landing, getting rid of Cersei, getting all, rid of everything over there. And there's this just sense of, listen, maybe I'm an optimist.
Yeah.
But
well,
I don't think it's all going to be gloom and doom. I think, we've had 10 years of that, right? We're just, oh my God, like we're so used to that. And I think there's still going to be some, but I think we're getting to a point where, they're going to end up there and like, what can we do? How can we in the future make this a better place? Because it's been hell the last how many thousands of years. And how can we break the wheel and break the chain and, make this a better place for everyone?
Yeah. There's going to be some poetic element, to it. Like people were talking about Cersei and Jaime,
right? And
people saying, well, it almost fits too perfectly, but there'll be some characters that have that poetic element too, I think. So.
And the one thing I wanted to say, the music, amazing. Like, it's just like music just added to the tension.
Yeah. Oh, it sure did. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was just like at one point where there was that ticking sound when they were, when the battle scene started. So
yeah.
Hopefully I added some value and some additional comments here.
Oh, absolutely. This is
great.
Oh,
yeah, Marissa, that's awesome.
This is awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really
that's the whole
that's great.
The whole point here is get your guys thoughts here. Lady let's see
awesome.
Lady Liz said she can't talk, she's at work, but I'm gonna see hopefully she can type out some predictions and we can get these. Lady Alyssa said she was a little nervous, but I'm gonna go ahead and
we got her. She's
I don't
is she on here?
I have her unmuted if she's ready to go. She just has to click the unmute button in the bottom corner there on.
Oh yeah, she's got to unmute herself.
Yeah, you got to you just got to unmute yourself and then you can get going. But oh, here we go. I think we're ready.
There she is.
There she is.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey.
Hey.
Sorry, I've kind of like missed most of the episode today.
Oh, that's okay.
But honestly, my predictions went completely out of the window with this last episode. I have no idea what to predict anymore.
Yeah.
I honestly don't see anything going good anymore, and it freaks me out more that we could lose more characters to, say, Cersei than the Night King.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm also not completely taken care of. I know like the whole episode was, entire long battle, like Lord Adam Parker said that, it still was a really long battle in regards to taking care of everything. It seemed in a way too simple still, how crazy that battle was. I just think that there's a whole lot more, especially the recent interview that the writers had with Jimmy Kimmel, that they just putting it off a little bit, saying, oh, we can't say anything if it's happening. I think a lot more that is going to happen that we honestly can't predict anything at this point.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Well, let's see if we can get her.
Back.
Is she still on?
Yeah, I think we're cutting out a little bit there, which happens sometimes. We're using Discord, and sometimes that.
Oh, there she is.
Oh, there she is. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's okay.
You're okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
You kinda cut out.
Yeah, Discord servers are known to kind of cut in and out every now and then.
They cut you off when you're making predictions that are just ridiculous. So I don't know why they didn't cut Lord Adam Parker off, but whoa, Lord Adam Parker. Well, I'm just teasing. But Lady Alyssa, what were your thoughts on the last episode? Like, were you just as emotional as everybody else?
Oh yeah, like I think that's probably the first episode in a long time that I was like on the edge of my seat the entire time, and like actually like yelling at the TV, and just on top of that all, obviously you can't see any. It's confusing trying to keep up with everybody. I'm sitting there thinking, oh my God, did Brienne just die? Did Jaime just die? What just happened? There's so much to watch. And then I gotta say, like, I was kind of like glad to actually see, even though, Jorah died, that to see emotion from Dany, because like the last couple of episodes, she's she's been getting on my nerves a little bit, but it was just honestly probably the craziest episode that I think I've seen this series. Like it's a constant flow. 'Cause you would think something like that with an episode that's an hour and a half of just a battle, you would get bored after a while, or you'd be like, okay, when is this finally ending? But it was just constant flow of it was amazing. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Right. Lady Alyssa, who's your favorite character? Do you have a favorite character, or did you just say like was Danny your character? Or?
No, Danny's honestly like my least favorite character at the moment. Oh. My favorite character. See, I'm Team Stark all the way. So Arya, Sansa, Jon. I'm still rooting for all of them. I'm still trying to keep a little hope that everybody's going to end up okay at the end, but preparing myself for the worst.
See, I am Team Targaryen, which is why I am Team Jon Snow. Is why I've
wow.
Or as his real name is Aegon Targaryen. So
I try to make my peace with that the last couple of weeks too. I'm like, I want to sit there and say, no, I'm not Team Targaryen, but I love Jon Snow and he's a Targaryen, so I guess I do. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Okay.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you so much.
We have Lord. Lady Liz just posted it. So then we'll grab Lord James Hunter, the Foulmouth. Lady Liz says, my minor predictions is that Dany is going dark. I used to love her a lot, and part of me still does, but I feel they're not going Targ restorations. She seems obvious. Jorah died, and I feel like part of Dany's conscience went with her. He's been her strongest supporter from season 1. He's been at her side, and he listens to her, and she truly trusted him, and she almost doesn't have anyone in her corner. Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, that's intense. The idea that Jorah being gone would really affect her in a way.
I do think it is going to affect her a lot.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. Lord James Hunter, you are on.
Sirs, how you doing?
Oh, there he is. The captain of the guard. There he is.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? I definitely say, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. I definitely say I could definitely give a better, opinion of the show today than Monday. I mean, I'm kind of parroting what everybody's kind of said already, but like on Monday, I was just, my fantastical brain had ruined the show for me because I couldn't just watch it. I had to starting, and when we start crushing show theory last April, and you get all this like theory build up and you're just waiting to like throw it in the mix and see if you can figure it out instead of just relaxing and watching this. So once, I listened to the show on Monday and you guys kind of brought up that it was an adaptation of the book, which helped separate for me the book and the show because I keep mixing it. Go ahead.
Well, Zay, it's tough, right? Because you throw so much of your own ideas and thoughts and theories into it that it's when it doesn't go that way, you're like, wait a second, I thought I had this thing figured out.
And they do so much, I guess you could call it fan service, that's book heavy in the episode before. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jenny's song is so book heavy. And they throw it in because I was watching it with my girlfriend who she just watches it casually. She's plowed through it and hasn't read the books at all, and so she just like, oh, okay, whatever, it's a song, and I'm like losing my mind because I'm like, oh my god, it's like such a big deal, and trying to explain it, and but it's, for us book people, it's like, oh my god. And then the whole Night of the Seven Kingdoms thing is with Brienne of Tarth. It's such another huge book heavy thing, and so it's kind of like, man, maybe the next episode's gonna have a lot of book stuff, and then we don't know yet, but it just didn't go the way I think a lot of people expected it to.
I loved what they did with Melisandre. I was super stoked that she got to have a badass part, and I was super stoked with Aya, and I guess it was just the Jon thing, and I guess it was so dark I couldn't even see, like, I was in a group today and I saw that video they posted about Jon saying go, go, go. And I rewatched it for a fifth time tonight to see it. And it totally changes the whole perspective. I'm thinking I'm thinking he's standing in front of the dragon like an idiot out of frustration,
Right.
not knowing what the hell is going on, not thinking that he's, setting a pick for Arya to take out the Night King, So,
he's running the bubble screen, he's
yes. In all, and on top of like we talked about like the score of the show and the cinematography was just amazing. Is the detail, like when they launched those trebuchets and those fireballs hit the black, you could see the little body parts of the dead flicking in the fire way far away. It's just amazing detail for that big of a scope of a shot. Yeah. So yeah.
And when they first those Dothraki run out, I mean, when they zoom back and you look at John and Dany, I was like, wow, they have that many people. I was sort of like, yeah, we got this. I mean, you think that's enough. You would think that's enough people to really decimate another army.
Yeah.
But dang.
Yeah, I did. I guess that was one thing I found myself like watching the show. There's a couple, because I don't think there'll ever be a show that will make me as tense. I mean, I was just gripping, and it was to the point where like when Melisandre lights the fire and sets everything, sets the ditches on fire, and the kind of the dead are just haven't figured it out yet, and everybody's just kind of taking a water break. And I'm screaming, effing loose!
I was
making me crazy.
I was in the same boat. And I was like, what? Like, why aren't you guys firing arrows? You're just like taking a breather. But yeah, with the when the Dothraki charged forward, I really thought it was such cool cinematography and just great storytelling. I thought it was when Melisandre shows up and they all light their swords on fire and they start cheering, I was like, when I was taking notes, I just wrote down the word hope. And I didn't, know what happened, like a minute later, but I just wrote down the word hope.
No.
And so they all charge forward, and then the lights just start going dark. And then I was like, and now it begins. You know what I mean? Like,
it definitely plays like a horror movie. It's crazy.
Right.
That kind of tension, like instead of like a normal battle, it definitely plays like this crazy zombie horde type horror movie instead of when you're going into it kind of mentally thinking you're taking the battle like the Battle of the Bastards, kind of you're thinking of it that way, not like an ocean of people over you.
Yeah, and I also think, I don't think that the Dothraki are really the kind of people to just stand your ground. They're chargers. Yeah. They're gonna charge at him.
Yeah.
That's
a good point. Yeah.
That's their battle tactic. I don't even when we see them in the one battle we really see them in, where they attack the Lannister army, they're charging down the field at them. They don't really know stand your ground or left flank. That's just who they are. So they get their swords lit on fire, and they're probably taking off regardless. Hey, we got our swords on fire.
Yeah.
We've got
they're fired up.
We've got this blood magic. We're going whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
So that's just I don't really think it was, we're gonna just wait for our command from Jorah. We're just going. We got this.
Yeah. Well, Lord Hunter, what did you think about the whole? Did you like the choice of Arya? Being the one to kill the Night King, or what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I see again because you get too wrapped up into book stuff and you overlook because as you look back on the show, it makes perfect sense. I mean, she's a complete badass. She's just been numb to killing people since she was a little girl. So she's not fazed by death at all. So I mean, whereas Jon still kind of gets emotional about it and has feelings about death and having to take someone's head for disobeying orders or whatever. Where she is just cold, calculated. So I could totally buy that she could be the one to do it.
Right.
Yeah, because
I mean,
I didn't think it was going to be her, but
yeah, they even.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't think either. But going back, I mean, there's definitely a lot of there's a lot of telling of it where she's having the conversation with Gendry and she's throwing the she's throwing the daggers at the wall, and she's talking about I've seen death. I look forward, all that stuff. There's definitely a lot of hinting towards Arya. My only kind of disappointment was, and I wrote when I was doing this, I was on my notes was when John, I was like, we're finally getting it, the John Night King, and I saw how much time was on the rest of the episode, so I'm like, I know this isn't the end. But we have John and we have the Night King, and he's standing at him, and John's tired, right? Because he just fell off his dragon, he's hurt and all that stuff. And I was like, we're finally gonna get John versus the Night King, and then the Night King just kind of stands there and raises the army. And I just wrote down on my notes, I was like, what a fucking bitch! Like, just like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not fighting Jon Snow. And so that was kind of my one disappointment. I still would have been fine, and I still am fine with Arya. I think to me, the lack of the Jon versus the Night King battle, I feel like, I don't want to say like a wasted opportunity, but I just think it would have been. I think it would have been cool even if they'd fought for like a second, and I think that would have been a good idea. You have kind of a hurt, tired Jon Snow, and maybe the Night King doesn't kill him, but he just like backhands him and kind of knocks him away, and then he raises the army, and so we still get a little bit of that Jon versus the Night King Night King fight, and then it's Arya who has to do it.
Yeah. Even if Arya had to do the main fighting, I just was kind of bugged that after 9 years, it felt like a no scope 360.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what the heck? Can he draw the sword? Let's see the ice sword in action. And she could dodge it and then kill him, but at least have a little battle,
Right.
But I mean, it played cool, but it still, I mean.
Yeah, unexpected. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But
Also, we've talked a lot about the crypts and how they were gonna play a part, and him raising the dad and in the crypts did actually happen, but it didn't really end up being anything significant. So I'm wondering though if perhaps, say, Lyanna's tomb is busted open and they go down there, and then maybe totally. They find something, because we're still gonna have to get to this. How does everyone else figure out about John's parentage?
Yeah,
right.
And then there was also one other thing that I was, has been bugging me, is
a head scratcher. Yeah,
it was like last season when Melisandre was talking to Varys, and she said she had to die, and so I guess she fulfilled her end of the prophecy. So, I've been trying to figure out, so Varys, if he's on the block here, and time's ticking, there's 3 shows, trying to figure out what he's going to do to get dead. Like, has he got something to do with the Golden Company through
right.
What Mopatis
Illyrio,
yeah. So I was just curious what you guys thought about that part, about his end of it.
Yeah. Still waiting. The only thing we know is that Daenerys also told him, if you ever betray me again, I'll burn you alive. So I still think maybe that's how it's gonna go, and it would be if he were to be burned alive by one of Daenerys's dragons, that may be something that Melisandre saw via the Lord of Light, right? Because fire and the Lord of Light. So So I think that's so.
Now, Lord Hunter, do you have any predictions? I guess like bold thoughts going forward. What would you like to see?
I really tried to back that off after last Sunday, but I kind of after. So I guess there was one spoiler. I don't know what it came out before the show was released last year. Something that said that Tyrion was going to get burned at the stake, or some script or something nonsense. And then then the other night I was watching some theory on YouTube about him being the last one on the Iron Throne, and they broke it down like the 3 heads of the dragon, and like Jon doesn't really want to be there, and Dany's crazy, you can't trust her, and so he's the more he's better at, and that seemed to make more sense. But for me, I would like them to just do the break the will, because I think that's what would cause the Iron Bank to go bankrupt, just to see because if no one claims the crown, no one's paying back that debt. So, and I'm sure Cersei's ran up quite a bill.
Right. Oh, I bet. Oh, absolutely.
And so, okay, so another question for you here. Something we haven't really mentioned is, both Bran and Dany have visions of the Iron Throne, and they're kind of burnt down. So do you think that's going to be something we see in possibly episode 5, which Emilia Clarke has said just get ready for if you thought episode 3 was huge?
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like there's going to be some definite wildfire action going in there, and there's definitely the scorpions. So you don't know if that fire damage is from wildfire or one of the dragons. I just have a feeling the dragons are going to get taken out from one of those scorpions since it's in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But
right.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to. I mean, guys, we got less than.
We'll find out.
Less than 24 hours now.
I know.
So,
I know. Yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting episode. Lots of, I think the one thing going away from it was like Sansa's mouth is going to get Tyrion effed up. He's going to pay for that from Dany. It's like, oh God.
Yeah,
so
that's for sure.
I feel like it's getting to the point where Sansa's almost little pokes trying to get her fired up, so she overreacts and makes herself look bad or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So.
But
could be. All right.
Like
yeah.
that.
All right. Thank you, Lord Hunter. I think we're gonna have Sir David the Huntsman here. Oh, but real quick, Lady Liz added one more comment. She said, "Last thing, love the episode. Arya fits for me. Maybe she's not the princess who was promised, but she is actually a princess. I love that she was truly unexpected, and I was an absolute shock. Gurm's wife's favorite character is Arya, so it is fitting she would have this epic moment, at least in the show, maybe in the books as well."
Yeah. So awesome.
All right, I'm going to get Sir David the Huntsman here. Sir David, you should be on and ready to go.
There he is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So thoughts.
All right, good sirs.
Yeah. So thoughts on the episode and then predictions going forward.
I love the episode. Was on the edge of shouldn't watch with company because I was yelling a bit. Might have had a couple of pints of ale or something like that along the way. But I know that when Melisandre comes out, as soon as I saw her, I was like, she's gonna light something on fire. And then when she got closer to the Dothraki, it's like, light their swords on fire. And then when she did, I was nuts. But
yeah.
So that was awesome. I'm not a nitpicker of the episode. I liked it being dark. There's been a lot of comparisons for like the Battle of Helm's Deep and the Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, which was pretty well lit. But this to me feels a lot more real. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Night King's army isn't going to be carrying torches. They're not going to give them away. They're anyway. But so for me, the darkness and then like the orange glow of the fires when I light the moat, it was a really nice dramatic effect. So I guess if I had to nitpick anything, the only thing that I felt was slightly hokey was, but probably real, very real thing, was towards the end when you had, it was Brienne, Jaime, Pod, and Grey Worm up against the wall.
Yeah.
And so they're just getting, like rushed, and like the looks on their faces were such a bunch of anguish. And I just sat there and I watched, it's like, how are they not dead?
Yeah.
How did none of them die?
Yeah, there was definitely a moment where Sam is on the ground and he's being attacked by a lot of people, and I'm like, oh,
he's on the ground like slapping them. It's like, yeah, get away. So that was the only small nitpicky thing. Jon fighting the Night King would have been cool. I would have liked that sort of like epic sort of solo fight, one-on-one fight. But honestly, the more I think about it, so he tries to charge him. Night King raises all the dead. He stops him. Then he tries to go at it again, and he's stopped by the dragon. So for me, like when you think about Jon, so whenever he's fought, he might have been, almost beaten, but he usually comes out on top. Battle of the Bastards. He charges in after Rickon. Kind of stupid. He almost gets trampled when they're doing their Roman Legion shield thing, like crushing him against the dead.
Right.
But you know what? He comes out on top. Even with the Night's Watch, the first battle with the wildlings, he comes out on top. He lets all the wildlings in. He gets stabbed. He dies. In the books, dead. In the show, he comes back again. He comes out on top. He needs, allies to help defeat the Night King and the army. He goes and finds Dany. He wins. He brings her in. He comes out on top. So what we're seeing here is him kind of losing, And I'm a huge sort of supporter of, at the end of the show, Jon's going to take the throne and Dany's going to die. So for me, with a king, yeah, you can be a fighting king, but you also have to learn how to delegate. And you have to learn how you can't win every time. So maybe not something he wants, but this is showing how he could lose, how he has to maybe pull back a bit, how he has to think more. He has to think like a king. He has to think like a strategist instead of just, rushing in like he's been doing, which is going to lead to him dead eventually, because nobody has that much luck. So that was one thing I kind of pulled from that. Right. But aside from that, I love the episode, was on the edge of my seat. I think the only thing that I don't like to make predictions because I like to just enjoy myself. I like to live in the moment. Yeah. But I could have sworn if you would have asked me Saturday or even the hours leading up, I had a death list like a mile long. It's like, how did Missandei and how did they live? How did Davos live? Why didn't we see little lady, in her White Walker, phase, come and like stab one of our heroes or something as a surprise? It's like, oh, Lady Mormont, oh, you're dead. Right. But, no, we didn't get that. So, but I mean, pretty much everybody who died, I thought would die. I think the only one who I said they have zero chance of dying was Sam, because I still hold that belief that he's the maester telling the story. Right. At least that's my happy ending hope, I guess.
Yeah, same here.
So as far as like theories, I guess, I think somebody else said it that the next episode is probably going to be like a setup episode. Yeah. Because I mean, the army's decimated. There's still what do they say? There's 1,000 miles between the north and the south. So there's still time. It's not like we don't have a time element here to where all of a sudden next episode it's going to be the battle between the remnants of the north and the whatever Cersei has, which actually leads into my bigger point. I wonder on the allegiance of the Golden Company. So I was talking to people about this. I think when we finally get to King's Landing, I don't think that the Golden Company is loyal to Cersei. I kind of think that, what if Dario comes back into the picture here? What if he can come back and the Second Son's kind of infiltrated the Golden Company, and it's not Cersei's Golden Company, and it's basically like, I've got this army. Oh, no, you don't. Which leads into split theory and how we take care of Cersei. Okay, so number one, Golden Company turns, dragons raining fire, the North coming down and whoever else they can bring down, assaulting the city, and you're on Greyjoy because this is what he does. Just, I don't know, chucks Cersei over. Wow. And tries to get on the ships, and he's stopped by Yara. And that ends Euron. Or Jaime gets to Cersei first, okay? And Tyrion is not far behind. Yeah. So Jaime and Cersei have a moment, and she is just mad at this point. I mean, like literally insane. And in walks Bronn with the crossbow that was given to him.
Yeah.
And he goes to kill Cersei and Jaime, because I still don't think he's that smart, walks in front of the bolt, takes it, he dies. Bronn kills him, and then Tyrion, raging out, strangles Cersei. And that ends with the last Lannister, Tyrion.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, it could be wrong.
Right.
No,
that's what rolled around in my mind.
Well,
Hey.
so far, I think we've all been wrong about this season because
Yeah.
I think we've all thought, man, like everyone was posting the week before that half of the season's going to be gone, or half of the characters are going to be gone.
Yeah. That is wild. When you were, Sir David, when you were talking about that at the end with the Lannisters there, I saw it going about 3 different ways. Like, what if we all kind of believe Jaime's ready to like take Cersei out, and Tyrion reminds them about family and loyalty or whatever. She's beaten, let her go. Who knows if the Golden Company turns like you say, that would be radical. And then maybe it could happen rather quickly, and then you do have some more other types of tensions that show up later. But wow, I like that a lot. So, all right. Well, any other final thoughts there, Sir David? You going to be like in your cups? I mean, this next episode, a couple pints in, or what's going on?
Well, hey, I think that's just the way it goes. When you travel down the King's Road and you're looking for a hold fast so you can find that wifey thing to get on the disc of cord, to join in with you guys. Sometimes just have a few pints when the world. So
yeah.
But no, I think I'm tapped out. That was my contribution. Like I said, I'm really enjoying the show, and hopefully we get a couple more really good episodes.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. Good.
All right.
Yeah.
I think that's just about everybody. So
yeah.
Woo, yeah. Raven's Nest. I always love doing Raven's Nest because I really, and I know Sir Ezra feels the same way. We really love getting more opinions on the show, getting to talk with people because Sir Ezra and I have our ideas, but I really like getting other people's ideas as well and reactions because we just get I think it also really helps the show to just give other people's perspectives.
Yeah, because we can start to rehash something out. We'll take the same theory and look at it, and we'll tweak it just slightly over and over and over. And then somebody comes in and says, like, you guys aren't even like, how about this? And it's something completely different, and sends us down as the sorceress of rabbit holes says, like down these rabbit holes. It's wild. So, anyways, yeah. So thanks to everybody because that is absolutely fantastic and good to hear from everyone. And yeah, we're midway through, so we've got 3 more to go, and I have no idea. I now am in the position where I do just want to sit back, like everyone else. What most of you have said is, and just enjoy. Enjoy this because after Arya does what she does there, and just have you seen the Air Jordan T-shirts that are out by the way?
They're hilarious.
The Arya shirts. I want one of those so bad. That is so epic. But yeah, after that, I'm just sort of like, okay, I don't even care. Anything can happen now. This is great.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. So anyway, stay tuned for our next episode, which will be season 8, episode 4. We just we don't have the title for that, but I think another good way to close out this, Sir Ezra, the thing I've gone back and watched because I've rewatched the battle a couple times, and I think one of my favorite parts of the episode is the redemption of a character because his arc goes so well, and I don't think it ends. So to close it out, in the words of House Greyjoy, what's dead may never.